Hey there, it's John, host of GenXGrownUp. Are you like countless others?
Just read it, please.
All right. Are you like countless others and miss me as soon as an episode ends? Listen to me on 1980s Now, where I chat about 80s pop culture and its influence today. It's available on the very podcast platform you're listening to me on right now.
Thank you.
When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Skims or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling and for shoppers buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. It's home of Shop Pay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Allbirds uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/income.
Hello, I'm Jason, and I support GenXGrownUp on Patreon. You should do the same, because the world just needs more GXG to make it a better place. Just go to genxgrownup.com/Patreon to donate to the cause.
No life, no fun. Don't you know that you're a grown-up?
GenXGrownUp is a YouTube channel, website, and audio podcast you're listening to right now. All made for and by people who love exploring media, games, tech, and toys of yesterday and today through the eyes of Gen Xers who refuse to grow up.
Your dinner cannot just be french fries. Basically, life sucks as a grown-up.
Welcome back, Gen X Grown Up podcast listener, to this, the backtrack edition of the Gen X Grown Up podcast, where we pick a single nostalgic topic and dig in deep. I am John. Joining me, as always, of course, my buddy George. Hey, man.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
You know, there would not be a show without Mo. Mo, how you doing?
Good. How's everybody doing?
Good. So in this episode, we're revisiting a film that didn't just redefine the psychological thriller, it crawled under our skin and stayed there. The Silence of the Lambs turns 35 this year, and we're looking back at what made it so chilling, so smart, and so enduring. From unforgettable performances to its lasting cultural impact, it's time to open the case file on a true cinematic classic. And I do want to put up a little just warning sign at the beginning. If discussions of brutality and horrible things bother you, trigger warning. Just letting you know, if you wouldn't watch the movie, you shouldn't listen to this backtrack. Because we are going to discuss the terrible thing.
I think it's the first time you've ever given one of those disclaimers. Really. We've talked about Friday the 13th and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and this is the one you give that on?
Yeah. I tell you, ain't nobody wearing faces in those. Well, I guess Chainsaw Massacre is, right?
I mean, Leatherface, it's kind of in the name.
This was pretty severe, so I want to make sure everyone knows what we're talking about. Look, you probably, if you clicked on it, you're probably prepared, but I thought I would warn you anyway. Before we jump into that, it is time for the fourth listener email. Look, the three of us are here. We may listen. George might even listen to this one because it's about Silence of the Lambs. You never can tell.
I might.
But if anyone else does, you are our fourth listener. We're so grateful to Amy T, who dropped us a line. Subject of her email was childhood 80s music.
Okay.
Here's what she has to say. Dear John, George, and Mo, I discovered your podcast around Thanksgiving when I was looking for an 80s and 90s podcast to listen to when I traveled to Michigan. I live in Oregon to visit family. We're happy that you found us, Amy. Thank you. I love your mix of humor, storytelling, fun facts, and history for my childhood era. That's the bullet point. That's what we're trying to hit
right.
on.
Yeah,
Glad it worked.
We'll just do that from now on. We'll just read Amy's email and be out and save us a lot of time.
She says, I recently listened to your Billboard hits of 84 and 85 and the We Are the World episode.
Oh, wow. Down a music rant.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you did. I grew up listening to pop music at a very young age. My first memories are at around age 5. My mom had a gigantic box radio on top of the refrigerator. She played it nonstop while my siblings and I got ready for school. And on Saturdays, I grew up with Barry Manilow, the Commodores, Neil Diamond, Air Supply.
There you go.
She says, I have my own Spotify playlist called Mom's Kitchen Radio.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
That's spectacular, Amy. I jump ahead a little bit in her email. She says, a few weeks ago, my brother texted me after he played his Spotify Unwrapped for 2025. Spotify determined his listening age to be 73. My brother is 44. He said he blames my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the best possible way. My brother lives in Virginia. I live in Oregon, and my sister is in between us in Michigan. We don't get together often, but we have a deep care for one another. I am grateful for all the 80s music that is in the soundtrack of some of our best times together. Thank you for keeping those memories alive. Amy T. from Salem, Oregon.
That's awesome.
Nice.
I didn't know Spotify did that. So,
Yeah.
You go in there
Every
and
service app does this damn end of the year shit now.
Yeah, but the listening age, I didn't know about that.
And they all make me feel horrible.
I listened to that. How much? We got a couple of fourth listener emails who just mentioned to us, sent us a screenshot. We showed up in their Spotify podcasts in the first or second slot kind of spots. And they were like, oh, that's fantastic.
nice.
It's too bad you don't have more podcasts to listen to. And we're the ones that made it to the top. We're so grateful for you, though, that you do. Listen, Amy, thank you for writing in. We love hearing the stories and your memories that we help to bring back for you. Fourth listener, if you're listening and you would like your email featured here on the show, it is drop dead easy. No Silence of the Lambs pun. All you have to do is fire off an email to podcast@GenXGrownUp.com. We read every single one, and most of them will eventually make their way to the show. All right. With that good business in the rearview mirror, we're going to jump into the body of this backtrack all about Silence of the Lambs right after this very quick break. You're listening to Gen X Grown Up. But if you have a friend who's not yet listening, why not? Tell them about us. They'll thank you later.
Do not touch the glass. Do not approach the glass. You pass him nothing but soft paper. No pencils or pens. No staples or paper clips in his paper. Use the sliding fruit carrier, no exceptions. If he attempts to pass you anything, do not accept it. Do you understand?
You spook easily, Starling.
May I see your credentials? Closer, please. Closer. You can fly back to school now, little Starling.
Silence of the Lambs was released February 14th, 1991. Almost exactly to the published date of this episode, almost exactly 35 years. And we have so much to say about this. It's spoiler alert.
It's not a Valentine's film.
Yeah. No. It is. Well, it came out on Valentine's Day. Good point. Yeah,
it did.
Spoiler alert. I think we all enjoy, love, have good feelings about this film. But lest I just assume that, I want to do a quick roundtable and read the room and find out for each of you, what is your familiarity, your relationship with this film? I want to start with you, Mo.
Yeah, I saw it in the theater.
Okay.
And when it came out in VHS, I think I actually had the VHS tape of this one. This is one I think I went out and bought.
Like you bought it. Uh-huh.
Yeah, bought it. Because, this was a movie that was played, I don't know, it's like one you could watch many times because it was just so different than the other movies that were out there at the time, different from horror movies, that it was just super interesting. Yeah, so I'm very, very familiar with this movie.
Okay. All right. George, how about you?
Never heard of it.
Okay.
No, I definitely kind of fell in love with this film. It came out in 91, as you said, and that was right when, John, you and I were first meeting, right around that time period.
Yeah, 91, 92. That's when I moved to. Yeah.
And it was a solid film, not just because of the quality of the actors, which were just unbelievable that they got those people in those roles. And we can talk a little bit about some of the stuff later on, but I just fell in love with the psychology of the film. I know, we're talking about a psychologist, cannibal here, but just the psychology of the film. I went back and read the novel that it was based on, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And it's just one of those, it's kind of like Jurassic Park did for me at that time. Your wonderful wife, John, she introduced me to Jurassic Park because we were at a Star Trek convention. They had a little T-Rex skeleton on a button, and she said, "Oh, they're making Jurassic Park into a movie." And I was like, "What the hell's that?" And she's like, "Oh my God, you've got to read it."
That's when you found out about it.
That's what I learned. And I read it just a week or two before the film came out. And that's kind of, it's not the same story, but it's kind of my appreciation for Silence of the Lambs is along the same lines.
Yeah. You guys have regularly made fun of me for my lack of knowledge of some of the most seminal films of our generation. So, of course, for the preparation of this episode, I went back and rewatched. Yes, I've seen Silence of the Lambs. Don't worry. You don't have to beat me up, at least. You might punch me. You don't have to beat me up entirely. I get the feeling that I feel like probably my rewatch this week was my third viewing. That's my feeling.
Okay.
Really?
That's it.
I know I saw it in the theater for sure. I remember seeing it in the theater.
Interesting.
But also, it's one of those things where as I'm watching it, I don't know what's the next thing that's going to happen, but I'm starting to suspect. And then when it happens, I'm like, oh yeah, it's this. Here it comes, right? The nice thing was I got to experience this, not fresh, but in a way that I wasn't like, I didn't know every beat. What was the next scene? That kind of thing.
Okay.
And watching it now in preparation for this, it's such a good place to be in, because if you watch this movie too frequently and know it too well and get too familiar, things aren't as shocking as they were the first time around. So you get a little bit of that back, and I was able to appreciate that. So
that's nice.
It's what struck me is, I'm sure we'll talk much more about its legacy and whatever. And I mentioned at the beginning here is that for a 35-year-old movie, this could come out today and do phenomenally well.
I think so too.
It is so well written and acted and paced and edited and structured and scored. It's a unicorn. It's tremendous. And being not just a horror movie, as you said, George, but also a psychological thriller.
Yeah.
A mystery, so much to it. So anyway, you did tons of research for this, George, because you were such a fan of this movie. Why don't we get started talking a little bit about the background of how this film came to us?
Yeah, well, so first off, it was based on the 88 novel by Thomas Harris. He has 4 books in that franchise, and believe it or not, all but one of the 5 Hannibal Lecter films are titled after those books, which is very nice. You know, there's Hannibal Rising, this one, Silence of the Lambs, of course. But I think Thomas Harris, he is an incredible writer. If you haven't read any of his work in the past, go check these books out, because I know you've probably already seen the film, so you'll be a little bit jaded, but he had his hands all over the film anyway, so it's not going to be like jarring or anything like that. Right. Like, for instance, like I was talking about with Jurassic Park, Michael Crichton was heavily involved with the screenplay for the Spielberg film. Even though a lot of stuff would change from the novel, it still had that same tone that Crichton had in his novel. Yeah, right. And that's why it works so well. And I think this follows along that same line. Ted Talley is the screenwriter, and he was the one that was brought on to write the adaptation. And the reason why they brought him in and why he was so happy to do it, he had actually been gifted the novel by Thomas Harris before it was released prior and had fallen in love with it. So that's another reason why it holds so well to the original story.
So, like, he was a fan already. It wasn't just he was a hired gun, but he was a hired gun who already had an investment.
Yes, 100%.
That's great.
Now, this is not the first Hannibal Lecter film. A lot of people get confused and think it is, but it's not. There was a film earlier in, 1986, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So about 5 years prior, starred William Peterson, called Manhunter. Yeah. And it was almost the same storyline, but it was based off of the Red Dragon novel, which was the first novel in the Hannibal Lecter series. Silence of the Lambs was only the second novel.
I am learning this for the first time now.
Really?
This was not the introduction of Hannibal Lecter.
No. So not to the film world, no.
Okay, so Manhunter, I'm just going to ask you, you may save me a lot of time. Since it wasn't Anthony Hopkins, since it wasn't the people that we know, is it worth seeing? Or did that character actually come to life with Silence of the Lambs?
Oh, goodness. It's an okay film. I'm not going to say it's the best Hannibal Lecter film, but it's not the worst either.
Okay, all right.
That I would give to some of the sequels, prequel. It's very confusing because the movies that came out after Silence of the Lambs.
In the timeline,
in the timeline, like Red Dragon is the original story, but it's not, it's Hannibal Lecter in prison and he is helping the FBI with a case sort of thing. William Peterson is one of my favorite, longtime actors from a long time. I say that like 12 times because I love him so much. It was originally directed by Michael Mann from Miami Vice fame. He also did the screenplay. I don't think he did as good of a job, and I don't necessarily like it when people do the screenplay and direct the film because they tend to live in a bubble, and I think stuff gets left out of a story that way. I think it's good to have different people. Yeah, checks and balances, exactly.
I actually saw the Manhunter movie. It was very 80s. I mean,
was,
and when you watch it, you know that Michael Mann, it looked like Miami Vice, quite honestly.
Really?
But it was
not terrible.
But it wasn't a terrible movie.
But it's very
it was
80s.
not a terrible movie. But when you look at it, you're like, oh yeah, this was 80s. Like you absolutely know this movie came out in the 80s.
Yeah, and oddly enough, another fairly famous actor played Lecter in this film, Brian Cox. If you can see that in your mind.
Oh, yeah.
Which is interesting because in Silence of the Lambs, when it was first getting circled around Hollywood, he was having a lot of problems. Ted Talley and Thomas Harris, they're having a lot of problems getting it produced by different people. And it turned out Orion Pictures ended up picking it up. But because they were going to do a deal with Gene Hackman to adapt it for film, and Hackman was going to direct and star in the film
as Lecter,
either as Lecter or Jack Crawford, the FBI guy who sends Clarice to
right.
Lecter.
Okay. Oh,
that ended up getting played by Scott Glenn.
Right.
What do I think of that? I wouldn't want him as Lecter. I could see Gene Hackman as the Crawford character, though, as the kind of the FBI guy.
Yeah, FBI guy. Yeah, sure, but not
I don't
Lecter.
know.
Anyway,
well, wait, we'll get into a little bit of all the different actors that they were talking about for the Lecter role, because it is a long and distinguished list, and not a single one of them makes any sense in light of the role we got from Anthony Hopkins anymore, of course. But there was another interesting company that wanted to produce this film, John.
Yeah, so it's interesting. It's always funny to find out what could have been. And the other one that's weird is Steven Spielberg's company, Amblin Entertainment. They were in the mix and they passed on it. And the reason was right. They said it's kind of out of character for Steven Spielberg. No shit.
Yeah.
No kidding. Yeah. This is like a psychological horror thriller is nuts. I think of Spielberg as almost like the magic fairy dust blockbuster kids adventure kind of wholesome thing. That would not have made sense here for me. And I think it was the right decision, because the tone of it, had he done it, it would not have had the grit, I don't think.
So I agree that I don't think he was right for this film, but think about, and this is pun intended, where did he cut his teeth?
Jaws.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a psychological horror thriller film, if anything that you ever seen. And it's a summer blockbuster, but that whole film was about not showing the evil until the very end. Yeah. So I don't think he could have done as justice to it as Jonathan Demme did, but it would have been a neat alternate universe.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe could have done better than I'm giving credit for, now that you mention it.
Yeah. Because you also did the Duel also, but the guy in the truck, did you ever see the Duel?
Yeah, which is just Jaws with the truck, which is the same movie pretty much.
Yeah. Well, you guys know I love the numbers. Film grossed $272 million worldwide on a $19 million budget. I think they did okay.
Yeah. They were happy people, investors.
And who knows when those numbers were taken, because it's not stopped making money. It's still making money, right?
I think
that's
that's
just box office or whatever.
Release.
Is it? Yeah, that's insane.
To Mo's point, Mo had the VHS tape. Yeah. I doubt much of that is included in that number.
Right.
The movie overall for Orion probably did $500 million in 1991-ish dollars, right?
That's a lot.
I mean, so really, it probably funded the next 3 or 4 films after
that's true.
Because it kept going, well, it did make this much money. Let's give it another shot, right?
Yep.
Mo, to your point, released on VHS in October of 91. So a very quick turnaround for a film back then. I mean, that's only like 8 months, something like that.
Yeah.
Very small.
February to October.
2 year even. Yeah.
Yeah. By Orion Home Video. And you guys, I hope you remember, Orion Home Video was one of the best VHS players going at the time. I really enjoyed all their releases. But it ended up being the second most rented video of 92 the following year. Didn't have quite enough time in 91.
That doesn't surprise me a lick. That doesn't surprise me at all.
No, it was an awesome film, and it just kept getting more and more recognition. It's one of those films that, kind of like your buddy, did you see Silence of the Lambs yet? No. Oh, let's go rent it from Blockbuster right now.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'll see it again.
I'll bet you it's one of those movies that, as you said, it's not because that many people wanted to see it, which it was partly, but there was repeat rental. There was.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Either, as you suggested, my buddy didn't see it, let me go rent it and get it again, or just as How many times you go rent a movie and it was like, well, you rent one movie and it's $4.95. 3 movies is 10. I'm like,
right.
Well, shit, I'll watch this again. It was fantastic. Silence of the Lambs. Here we go again, right? It's that kind of movie because even, as I said, I watched it again in advance of this, but I could watch it again tomorrow. I wouldn't have the same experience because it's fresher in my mind, but it doesn't drag. There are parts that go, what's a fast forward to the next exciting part? It just doesn't drag. It's so well structured. Oh, I mean, and that's a credit to everyone. The director, the editor, of course, the writer, the pacing, and all that stuff. It's just such a amazing movie. Okay. We dabbled a little bit in talking about the people that made this movie happen. We get back from this quick break. We're going to talk about that talent that brought this film to the screen. Stick around. Be sure to subscribe to or follow Gen X Grown Up wherever you listen. And while you're there, rate and review the show too. It helps more than you know.
Tonight, let there be silence.
Good evening, gentlemen.
The only motion picture in 50 years to win all 5 top Academy Awards. The only network to bring you the chilling masterpiece of suspense. On CBS tonight, Oscar winner Jodie Foster, Oscar winner Anthony Hopkins, The Silence of the Lambs. Due to some violent content, parental discretion is advised.
You know, Silence of the Lambs seemed like one of those movies that was just like a perfect storm of talent.
Yeah.
I think they just got all the right people and all the right roles that just made the movie just almost a perfect movie in a sense, right? It was just really good. And of course, you got to start with the director, Jonathan Demme.
Not Steven Spielberg.
Not Spielberg.
In a way, though, he was kind of an odd choice because I don't think he's had like huge. This is probably his biggest movie, like after he did this one. And he had some things before, but they were kind of like moderate successes, you know, from looking through his things like Caged Heat and some other ones. You know, he did some Roger Corman movies, you know, so it's an interesting choice, but it turned out to be correct.
Yeah, and that Corman thing is going to come back up later in this segment for sure.
Oh, right. Yep. Right.
Yeah. He's, I think Jonathan Demme was right man, right time kind of thing with this. He definitely, he corralled a massive amount of talent in a way that made it better than the sum of its parts.
Yeah.
You could see that.
Yeah. And actually, he directed probably my favorite concert movie ever, Stop Making Sense, Talking Heads. He's the guy who directed that.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So why don't we move on to, this is the star of the movie, except she kind of isn't, but kind of is, depending upon whose performance you enjoy the most. But it's the first character you see. She's introduced just running through the woods. And I'm like, uh-oh, is this girl in trouble? Uh-oh, is she being chased through the woods or something? No, she's a badass agent who is like on a training drill. Well, she's about to be an agent. She's training. She's agent in training, right?
Yeah.
Jodie Foster plays Clarice Starling. Clarice. You can only say Clarice one way now these days, can't you? Clarice. And it was, for me, it was an unexpected casting. But again, you talked about that perfect storm, Mo. It turned out so good because she's so diminutive in stature. She's a sweet young lady, red hair, little bob, you know, and she's tough as nails. Yeah. And she gets a little flustered because she's new, but she has a certain amount of composure that belies her stature and her years her training for the job. She amazed me in this. Probably throughout the movie, just rewatching it, was me staring at Jodie Foster. And not just because she's a lovely young lady to look at, but impressed that she is getting across so much gravitas that isn't necessarily on the page, but it's in how she stands up to these other situations and these very, very imposing other people.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's heavy.
But it was complete vulnerability. You said a phrase that when you first started talking about her character, badass. She's not a badass at all in this role. She's almost just barely above a damsel in distress, really, because she's a babe in the woods, so to speak, and that's where we see her.
But you can see she has it in her. Like there's an acting beneath it that she's growing into, I guess.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Actress, but I mean the character.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. It's really, really impressive to watch.
Yeah, but I thought her character though is definitely, I don't know. I didn't get damsel in distress vibe from her because like she's the scene tough. Where she first sees the body and like as a test they send her like to do like the autopsy thing and she just goes through it and steals herself and does it. You know, I don't know. I just saw her as a tougher character than that, I guess, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying her character wasn't tough, but remember the first time she meets Lecter and she's walking back through the hall and the guy slings his juices at her.
Yeah.
Right. There are tons of times in this where she is totally vulnerable and scared, including some of the final stuff in the film where, you know, it's life is on the line situations.
I'd be scared.
She is definitely a trainee. She is not a full agent.
Yes, absolutely.
I do see where you're going with that. I think I probably land somewhere between you and Mo. I didn't see her as a damsel in distress. I saw her as an inexperienced person who is clearly has the fortitude to do this job. She just hasn't had to do it yet. And every time she's met with a challenge, she doesn't shrink from it. She's rattled, she's flustered, but she doesn't run away screaming, right? She's like, I'm going to deal with this.
Well, but remember, this is not the job she wants.
That's right.
She's not training for a field agent job. She's training for a job under Crawford in behavioral sciences. She wants to be a profiler. Now, I never said, and I know the phrase has come up a couple of times, I never said she was a damsel in distress. I said she was one notch above a damsel in distress for me. I understand. I'm not trying to die on a hill because we got too much other stuff to talk about.
I get what you're saying, though.
But it's important.
I like, unlike a Sigourney Weaver in Aliens character,
who's
I think
experienced badass.
I think she played a vulnerability in this role that Jodie Foster brought forward that made you even more fearful than you would have been just seeing horrific things, because you were relating everything through her eyes. And so her vulnerability, her timidness in certain situations, her fear in certain situations dealing with Lecter. I mean, you notice she builds it up throughout the film. I'm going off on a rant now. We're going to be the Silence of the Lambs podcast because I love this movie so much. I think it was an important part of the character, because otherwise I think the movie feels different to you as a viewer if she is a badass.
Yeah,
I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from too.
And I argued that I'm pretty sure, is the star of this movie, but probably not the most memorable character from this movie.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about Mr. Fava Beans himself with his Chianti, Hannibal Lecter, expertly played by Anthony Hopkins. Now, we talked about the Gene Hackman possibilities earlier. He wasn't the only big name to possibly be associated with this role that they wanted to go after. I'm going to just run down the list. Don't stop me, because every one of these is crazy. First off, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Dustin Hoffman, Jeremy Irons, and Daniel Day-Lewis were all considered for this role, including somebody who you would never guess would have auditioned for it, but he did go out for this role. And this is 91 now. Forrest Whitaker went out for this role.
Really?
Yep.
I could see that.
That would have been different. Actually, kind of sense.
You can see that now because of his gravitas, but 91, right out of Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Forrest
maybe
Whitaker.
91 Whitaker.
No, maybe not. But
he has creepy in him. He has gravitas in him.
He does.
Oh, I could have seen that.
Oh man. When the movie came out, this had a ton of press, right? They were on every talk show and I saw an interview with Anthony Hopkins about the character. And he said he didn't want to play it as an insane person. He wanted to play it as somebody who was so sane, so aware of everything. That he appears insane. Like he's not, he just knows, he just sees everything.
Yes.
Nothing gets past him at all, which makes him look insane to somebody else from the outside.
There's something about Hopkins' performance as Lecter that it starts when you first see him. Like, he's just standing in the middle of his cell. He's not sitting. He's not, I don't think he's blinking.
Yeah.
He's just kind of a statue. And he has an answer for everything, and he has a comeback for everything, and everything he does is made to make you feel uncomfortable, to give him the advantage. And even when he has that mask on, right, later they have him on the hand truck, and they're moving around like he's plywood, right? They're moving around. And all you can see is like maybe his lips through the thing, and his eyes, just his eyes, they look at you like they're going to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's another one of those
without
magical
emotion
unicorn things. Yeah. It's like, I don't even care. I don't feel one way or the other about it, but I'm given a chance, I will end you for fun.
Yeah.
Almost. Yeah.
To me, he comes across as Moriarty without a Holmes, and he's up against Watson instead. And that almost at the beginning makes him feel like people are disrespecting his intellect. Like in some of his first interactions with Clarice, he's like, oh, so Crawford sent a little one to me this time. You know, it's just, he's so condescending, but at the same time, it's not malevolent condescension.
He's not wrong.
No, it's just matter of fact. Like you said, there's no emotion in it. And what I really appreciate with the delivery is at this stage in Anthony Hopkins' career, being a well-respected theater actor and everything, nobody would have picked him for the villain role in a movie like this. Nobody would have put him in that, but he pulled it off so well, along with working with everybody else involved in the thing, that it became its own standard for villains later on.
Yeah.
That's fair.
The other thing about his character, though, is that he had a charisma. Like you saw him, you're like something about him, like you liked in a way, right?
I'd have had dinner with him.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
But yeah,
he'd had dinner with you.
I might have been dinner, but I had dinner with him.
He's just charming, you know. Like you said, there's something about him. The way he, you know, is that in a way, like you saw him, like his eyes would scare you, but then after he talked for a while, I could see him putting you at ease. Like if he wanted to, and then you die, and then he eats you. But still, you know, in that middle part, you're.
And then later at the end of the movie, when he's out on his own, I get the feeling that he could probably choose to blend pretty well. Oh no, spoilers, 35 years ago. He has the ability to probably blend pretty well with other people and act normal. He's not an idiot. He's not insane. He's hyper sane. He's hyper competent.
Yeah.
In a way that's like, oh, you are so dangerous because your brain's on another level that nobody else is paying attention to.
Well, he is that shark like we were talking about with Spielberg's Jaws. He's just slowly moving through the water, waiting for an opportunity. And when the opportunity presents itself, he strikes with a viciousness that is so sudden
and violent.
You're taken about and paralyzed by it, and you have no chance to survive.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a few more to run through, but really, it's the Jodie Foster Anthony Hopkins show, really. But there are some other actors.
Yeah, it's pretty much a two-man movie.
That certainly add to the quality of this. Scott Glenn as Jack Crawford. So he's the head of the FBI Behavioral Sciences Division, and he effectively says, oh, I think you would do well to go in and catch Hannibal Lecter off guard. He sets her on this trajectory to, and he has ulterior motives. He's playing both of them, really. He's working both ends against the middle and doesn't tell them what all the motivations are and what's really happening. And he has and I like how Hopkins as Lecter tries to pit them against each other. Like, Clarice, do you think he wants you sexually? Yeah. It's like, she might not have thought of that, but now she's off her balance, right? It's not because he thinks that's the case, but he knows those are things that this young lady will make her second guess herself and wonder about. It's part of that brilliance. And of course, Jack Crawford, he's doing the right thing. He's a smart agent. He knows what needs to be done. It's just he's using all the resources available, and Clarice is one of those resources.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, he's the head of the Behavioral Sciences Division. He's not a dummy either, right?
No.
I'm not saying he's on Lecter's level of intellect, but he's very, very close. He could almost be Lecter's Holmes, but he's slightly less than, right? It's a nice thing to see that the evil guy is actually the smarter of the two.
Yeah.
Even though he's captured it in a cell, he's still the smarter of the two. And I like that Glenn plays Crawford that way, because there are times when he tells Clarice, like when he's sending her there, don't let Lecter get into your head, because he understands what Lecter can do.
Don't tell me anything personal.
But then there's other times when he makes faux pas, like when he's introducing her to the other sheriffs and people when they go to look at the body. She's like, I wish you would have shown me more respect in the room so they would know that they needed to respect me as well. And he like genuinely made a mistake, and he owns up to it. And so he has some vulnerability as well.
He took the note. He said, understood, noted. Thank you. He didn't like, I'm the boss, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I hear your point. Yeah. Yeah. Compassion. Unlike Lecter, who has all the intelligence and no compassion, this guy may not be on the same level, but he has emotional intelligence that maybe Lecter wouldn't have.
So, I mean, we've talked about all these characters, but the elephant in the room, or the buffalo in the room?
The buffalo in the room
is Ted Levine as James Buffalo Bill Gum, the antagonist in this one, right? He's the guy who's making all this stuff happen. His character, like, this was his breakout role. Like, this is the one. He's done some stuff beforehand, but this is the role that just shot him up. And I say that he played like a good crazy person. I mean, like, you know, and when they showed it, like, I remember seeing it in the theater. I'm like, I just remember thinking to myself, this is disturbing. Like, just watching him, it was like, this is disturbing. Like, this is bothering me at some level that, like, just watching him, you know, it's like, ugh.
Well, you know, it's not unheard of for this role to have bothered a lot of people, even up until this day. This role that he played has garnered a lot of criticism from the transgender community because this role was seen as the thing that made a lot of conservative people fear transgender people as being violent and unhinged and not the same as everything else. And all of that is true, that's what this character was. Yeah. But Lecter himself points out he's not a transgendered person. Right. He's just looking for his place, and that's what he's latched himself onto. He's really just a disturbed, crazy person who has decided to identify himself in that way. Now, there was one scene where it puts the lotion in the basket, right? That famous scene. But when the girl is really freaking out and begging to be let out and please just let me call my mom and everything, you see for about 10 seconds, Buffalo Bill starts to almost cry and then screams at her, just put the fucking lotion in the basket. Because he can't handle the emotional torture that he's putting this person through because he only wants what he needs from the person. He doesn't really want to kill her. He just needs to satisfy his own thing. His hunger. She just is an object to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a crack in his sociopathy. Like he's clearly a sociopath and he who has no concern for or can even empathize with the feelings of others. But then there's that crack. You're like, well, so even that is a nuance of the character that makes it like he's not just over the edge. He's over the edge and there's still a shred of humanity in there. And that's even scarier because that could be me now. Because I'm not going to go over the edge, but maybe I could get broken like this guy, you know. It makes it more terrifying. It's those little things in performances that are, again, not on the page, or maybe they were, I don't know, but they feel like they weren't on the page. They're between the lines and you're like, oh, that adds a depth that I wasn't prepared for coming into this little 91 movie.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing about his character, I think that really bothered me the most is that watching it, I'm like, this guy could exist.
Oh yeah.
Like in my head, I'm
thinking, probably does.
Somebody like that. He said, like, you know, sometimes the villains are so whatever. You're like, okay, that's a little far fetched or a little bit, you know, they kind of push it over the line.
It's not Blofeld, right?
Yeah. Right. But this one, I'm like, this guy could totally exist. Like, he seems like someone you could be your neighbor and you would never know.
Yeah.
Yep. That's scary.
I just want to, if you guys don't mind, I just want to round out the last two characters really quick because the next segment is us getting to talk about our favorite scenes. And I think that's probably one of my favorites that we're going to do in this podcast. But real quick, Anthony Held as Dr. Frederick Chilton. He wants to be Lecter's Holmes. He puts himself up there on that intellectual level, and we all can see right from the beginning he's not even fucking close to Lecter, or hell, even Clarice Starling at that point. Like everybody is smarter than him.
He's just a self-important douche.
Yeah. And you're kind of happy with what you can see is going to happen to him at the end of the movie. And that's really odd, right? Because you're, like John said, you're kind of rooting for Lecter. When you get to that last scene a little bit, you're like, yeah, fucking eat his ass. Go ahead.
He's been treating you poorly.
Chianti. You know, and this guy, he's obviously, you know, he goes through the whole thing of subterfuge and going behind the FBI's back to the senator so that he can get the glory. And my name is spelled Chilton, Chilton, in front of the press, you know, and everything. Which, by the way, who puts a sociopathic serial killer in a museum jail? What the hell was that about?
That's a good point. I hadn't thought of that, but
you're just inviting the shit that's going to happen.
Isn't Lecter like a trophy to him?
Yeah.
He wants people to know he's got this guy under his thumb. So it actually kind of makes sense when you think about it.
That's a good point.
Because if you hide him, nobody knows you got him. He wants people to know, like, because he's a kind of an impotent character who's getting power by who he has control over.
Yeah, because I think he even says to the press, he says something along the lines of, it was only through my interpretation of his brain that we solved this.
I need the glory.
Yeah. Last one, and this is literally just one of those little, you know, highlight things, and you miss it kind of stuff. We talked about Jonathan Demme having some ties to Roger Corman. He actually got Roger Corman a part in this movie. He plays FBI Director Hayden Burke, who's only in 2 scenes. The one where he yells at Jack Crawford for, not talking to the senator before the whole gambit play of, we're going to let Lecter go live on the island. Yeah. And then he's in one of the ending scenes where he gives Clarice Starling her badge when she graduates. That's all he's in there for.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But it's just nice to see that he pays homage to kind of his mentor.
Yeah.
It's cool. All right. So what did you say we're doing next? We're going to champion a scene.
Oh, we are.
This is rough. We do this in a lot of movie backtracks. I was the last to pick, and you picked 2 of the best ones. So, and I still got a great one. There's so many good ones in here. We'll reveal our picks and talk about them a little bit right after this.
Walmart Business is in the business of saving you time, money, and hassle. Whether your business started in a garage or is a garage, Walmart Business has the tools to help you get where you're going. Tools like free shipping, multi-user accounts, and just about any item your company needs.
Even a double filtration cyclone dust collector.
Yep, even that.
Sweet.
Walmart Business. It's the Walmart you love. Now for your business. Learn more at business.walmart.com. Terms apply.
Each episode of Gen X Grown Up has show notes loaded with links where you can learn more about our topics. And there's even more to see and hear over at GenXGrownUp.com.
We're interviewing all the serial killers now in custody for a psychobehavioral profile. Could be a real help in unsolved cases. See, the one we want most refuses to cooperate. You spook easily, Starling? Believe me, you don't want Hannibal Lecter inside your head.
I'm here to learn from you.
I tell you things, you tell me things. Not about this case, though. About yourself.
The Silence of the Lambs on TCM.
Well, like I said in the previous segment, this is one of the things that I've been looking forward to the most in this podcast. And I hate that it's probably going to make the podcast way too long for the listeners, but it's such a good movie that has so much to talk about. Mm-hmm. This is where we get to talk about our favorite scene from the movie that wasn't already stolen by the other 2 people, right, as John mentioned earlier. So, Mo, why don't you get things started and let us know what your favorite scene in this film is?
Yeah, we definitely say one of my favorite scenes, because like you said, there's just so many to pick from here. But my favorite scene, or one of my favorite scenes, is the first meeting of Lecter. Because it was when you first see him, he looks harmless. He's just an old guy standing there just with a little smile on his face. And then once Jodie Foster starts going through her that questionnaire, which everyone knows is BS, it was just an excuse. Then you start seeing what he's like. Then it's like peeling away a little bit more. And you also knew that he was doing that intentionally. He was just a little bit more to show a little who he is, a little bit more he's showing who he is. Just throw her off guard, keep her out of balance. So he has the advantage on it. Asking just bizarre questions out of the blue and things like that. You can see that he's just a master manipulator who's super intelligent. And that just made him scary right off the bat.
Did you notice, Mo? You probably did. Everyone probably has. But something that really impressed me is you don't see Lecter for about the first 10, 15 minutes of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
But the whole time they're talking about him. Mm-hmm. Here's who he is. Here's why you got to watch out for him. Here's what he knows. Here's what you want you to try to get out of him. And it's such a buildup, this monster. Mm-hmm. And as you said, Mo, you get there, he's just an old man standing around hey, what's going on, y'all?
Hello.
And it subverts your expectations to a point wait a minute, I thought this guy was a demon.
Yeah.
Well, he is. Hang on. We're getting there.
Right. Just a different kind. You see all the other people that she walks past in that hallway.
Yeah, they're
actual
monsters.
Crazy, right?
They all fit what you think he's going to be until Mo pointed out. You get there and he's just like the guy who's, letting you cut in line at Sunday at the bakery.
Yeah, he's waiting for a bus, right? He's just standing there.
And as she walks down the aisle, they're getting worse and worse. So whoa, this build up. And then it's Lecter. Nice and calm.
Yeah, nice and calm. Very polite.
Yes. And she even makes a point of his politeness later on in the film when he escapes. And she said, the girl's like, he's out. He could come after you. And she's like, no, you don't understand. He would consider that impolite.
Yeah, it'd be rude. It would be rude.
Yep.
So that was my scene, which again, there's just so many.
That's
but George,
good.
out of the many, many scenes, which one did you pick?
For me, it was a no-brainer. That's why I wanted to do most of the work on this card, because I didn't want this scene to get taken from me. Lecter's escape from the museum jail. So just to set the scene, he's been transported to go meet with the senator. Why the senator wouldn't go meet him, she's got the jet. Why go through all the rigmarole? But it was part of the story. Okay, fine. He's in this museum up on the 4th floor. And he's in this cage that's in the middle of the room, not touching anything, right? It's kind of a Magneto from X-Men kind of cage.
Yes.
And he's in there, and he's already preemptively figured out his escape before he ever got transported, right? He's stolen the cartridge out of the pen from the psychiatrist.
Yep.
And you kind of get the little taste of that when the psychiatrist goes to sign the letter and doesn't have his pen, and they pan to Lecter. It's very in your face. Now, in 91, that was a lot subtler. Nowadays, audiences are so smart. They're going to, this shit is coming back, right?
Yeah.
But the way he goes about his escape, he sits behind the little partition that they gave him, and he's listening to his music. He's not in a rush.
No.
He's just taking his time. He's like, just one more minute, please. And it's not so he can prepare. I think his character is genuinely listening to the music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gets up, he palms the cartridge so that they can't see it. He very politely and calmly sits down, slips his hands through the bars, and waits for the handcuffs. You may begin now. And the guy goes and handcuffs him. And all of this politeness just takes away their vigilance from them without them even noticing it. They go in, they go to put the tray down. He says, and he's planned this. He's planned this. Clarice gave him the drawings. He put the drawings specifically on that table. Please don't harm the drawings. So the guy has to put down the tray next to Lecter to roll up the drawings and put it. And they do all. Demi is so great by making everybody go slow in this scene, because it's a buildup. Then the guy goes, after he's moved the drawings, he goes to pick up the tray, and that's when Lecter handcuffs him to the bars, and they have that eyes locking moment for maybe half a second.
Crap.
And the guy's like, exactly, he's like, oh no, and Lecter's like, oh yeah, motherfucker, that's right.
It's happening.
And Lecter just goes off, right? He doesn't attack this guy, though. He goes after the free guy first.
You're handcuffed.
Right?
I'll get to you.
Let me knock this guy back a little bit, smash his head into the bars, bite his nose off of his face, and then slam him down on the ground. Then, what is arguably my favorite part of the scene, he comes back to the character that's handcuffed to the cage, and he picks up the baton. And he does all of this so slowly and methodically.
And the music's still going, isn't it?
When he starts to make those swings, even the wind-up of the swing is slow. It's not until he delivers the blow that he speeds up. And I think it's only a measured amount of force that his brain has told him, this is what you need to incapacitate and maybe kill this person. Yeah. You don't need to just go hog wild. Every blow is a determined stroke. It's brilliance.
Yeah.
In any horror escape film I've ever seen, it's the best escape film or scene ever.
I agree. You read the book, George, you said, right? And so one of the things that you don't get in the movie, which I could see why they didn't do this, is Barney, who's a minor character in the movie, he was basically who managed Hannibal Lecter. And the reason why he was over Lecter is because he never let his guard down. Never. So Lecter had to get away from him to escape.
Yep.
And that was part of it. It's like he knew he had to get away from Barney because Barney never, like, he would not have put that tray down on that table. He would not, like, he was just like, he was always on his guard with Lecter at all times. So I guess there's no way you really could do that in the movie or make that clear. But in the book, I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, I would have devoted too much time to a plot point that only had one small payoff because all the rest of it, it's really all focused on his distaste for the psychologist more than Barney.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Lecter he doesn't hate anybody except for the psychiatrist. That's the only character he really truly hates. He doesn't hate Crawford.
No.
He recognizes that Crawford is his adversary, but I don't think he ever hates him.
Yeah, and I don't even think that he necessarily hated the psychologist. I think he's just like, he just shouldn't be alive. Like his personality, and he's the type of person he is.
Yeah.
Like, he just shouldn't be around. The world would be better without him, kind of. Like.
Well, I think it's almost a personal affront to him that they share the profession.
Oh yeah, that's true.
No,
yeah,
and I think that's where his disdain for that character comes in. But I mean, that whole escape scene, just he's slowly taking apart everything that lesser than psychiatrist put in play.
Yeah,
and he's doing it one slow step at a time. And even when he's done, he sits down and relaxes for a while.
Yeah.
And then gets up and goes and kills the guard as he's crawling out. I'm like, so smooth and brilliant.
It's good.
I mean, I don't like to root for the bad guy, but you got to root for the bad guy.
When you're that good at what you do, you like to see the craft in action.
Credit where credit's due.
Yep.
That's enough about my scene. John, what scene did you decide to champion?
I'm going to do a half George, which is,
okay.
I have a favorite scene. I'm going to sneak in my favorite scene that I would kill to see that wasn't in the movie.
Ooh.
Okay.
I would pay full ticket price to see the conversation between Hannibal and Miggs that made Miggs swallow his own tongue and die.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You find it happens off screen. Like, he literally talked this guy into committing suicide.
Right.
Holy
in the
crap.
weirdest way possible.
Yes. Yeah. I'm like, so that's my half extra bonus, right? So
okay.
that scene wasn't in the movie, but I would have loved to have seen how that played out. The fact that it wasn't on screen made it better, of course, right? But in the finale, there's the standoff between Clarice and Buffalo Bill, where they're both in the house and they're running around, and then the lights go out. And you saw earlier that Bill uses this night vision thing. Well, now it really comes into play,
right?
And you are watching Clarice through the eyes of Buffalo Bill. You know where he is and how close he is to her, and he reaches out, almost touches her face a few times. You're like, it's like, I don't want you to get hurt, but more importantly, I don't want him to touch you. Like, he's so vile. That's almost as bad as getting hurt, you know? And that was one of those moments where I did not remember how the scene concluded because I know she didn't die, but I didn't remember how she survived that moment. And it was her awareness. And they zoom in on it. And when he cocks he has a revolver. When he pulls back the hammer on that revolver, they zoom in on it and they crank it up like it's about 80 decibels in the theater. That's what she hears. She's so attuned to what's going on. She hears the hammer cock back, and she just unloads in that direction. Whoever you are, you're going down.
Yeah.
So it was how it illustrated her character and showed that she is panicking, but she has not lost her wits. And that's the thing I'm talking about. She wasn't waiting to be saved. She was at a precarious situation, but she had that ability in her, that focus, that drive, that despite the fact I'm out of my element, this guy is a maniac and I'm out of my league, but I'm going to focus close, and it saved her life and allowed her to wrap up that part, at least, of the film. I loved how that played out and how it showed her awareness saved herself.
I think it's the only scene in the movie that I think Demi had a misstep in.
Really?
Well, not in, I mean, it's a wonderful scene. Don't get me wrong. I love it. But the reality of him cocking that hammer when he's the only one with full vision and she's not, and they're at point blank range. I mean, they're literally feet away because he almost reached out and touched her face, right? Yeah. How he missed with full vision and she hit 6 shots, because he does get a shot off. That part was, I mean, to say it's not believable in this type of movie sounds disingenuous, but I would have liked them to at least shown him just not get the shot off.
Okay.
I think that would have been a little bit better. Like to your point, that she was so tuned into the sounds because her vision was gone, that she gets the shots off first and he never gets a shot off. Now, I think if I remember correctly, the order is she gets a shot, then he gets a shot, then she gets 3 more.
So I think it's right. Yeah.
So maybe her shot made his shot
skewed
go
him off.
Yeah, because he was, impacted by her bullet.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the explanation, and I can live with that if that is the case. But I think it would have been smarter for him just not to get a bullet off.
Yeah, I always thought that the flash from her first shot messed up his night vision.
Oh, his vision.
and then
that's
she can
not
see
bad
him.
either.
That's good.
And then she can see,
Okay.
and also that flash, now can see where he is for a second, and then can unload him. That's my thinking. Who knows?
I thought you were going to say he should not have cocked the gun. He could have just pulled the trigger and it wouldn't have given him away. It was his hubris. He wanted the drama. He wanted the ceremony of pulling back the hammer, aiming it, and pulling the trigger. You could just pull the trigger on a revolver. It will roll over and go. Yeah. But there's the cocking of it that gave him away. It was his own hubris. He was playing with her.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, he was savoring a moment because this was the first time he had an opportunity to kill someone who was after him.
Yeah.
Wasn't the other way around. Like all of his victims, he was the predator. But now he's the prey and he has a chance. Like he was reaching out, trying to play with touching her face like a cat does with a mouse, right? I mean, I agree. That's why he would have pulled the hammer back as opposed to just fired, a full pull of the trigger.
Yeah, and I also thought that he was like scoping her out to see what parts he wanted to keep.
Maybe.
I didn't think about that.
She wasn't big enough, though.
This cheek will do well.
He needed like a size 14 girl.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Well, he could use her to make like a veil or something small. Some
Fair
gloves, maybe.
The world moves fast. Your workday, even faster. Pitching products, drafting reports, analyzing data. Microsoft 365 Copilot is your AI assistant for work. Built into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other Microsoft 365 apps you use. Helping you quickly write, analyze, create, and summarize. So you can cut through clutter and clear a path to your best work. Learn more at Microsoft.com/M365 Copilot.
LinkedIn is pretty great at a lot of things, like helping you tap into the latest trends and insights in your field. We cannot stop your coworker from tapping her pencil. LinkedIn can help you find new jobs that align with your career goals. We cannot help you find the source of that weird smell in the office fridge. Ew. And while we can't stop your coworkers from bringing their hobbies into the office, LinkedIn can help you bring your career to the next level. LinkedIn is the network that works for you.
If you're a die-hard Gen X grown-up, you can pledge your support by clicking join on YouTube or by becoming a patron at GenXGrownUp.com/Patreon.
A rookie FBI agent.
Found a girl's body down in West Virginia.
Are you saying that he's killed again?
I'll help you catch him, Clary. A psychiatrist turned psychopath.
Yes, and now, Clary, poor little Catherine is waiting.
Opposites with one attraction.
Tell me his name, doctor.
Now,
Lecter's missing hand arm.
her life hangs in the balance.
Man's a raving maniac. Who knows what he'll do?
The Silence of the Lambs. Available on video cassette October 24th from Orion Home Video.
I'm still creeped out about the last bit. Before we get out of this episode, usually we talk about movies. We want to talk a little bit about the lasting legacy, the impact this film has had. We've talked a lot about how well revered and the box office and everything on this. But there's from prequels to sequels to follow-ups to Cartman on South Park saying, put the lotion in the basket or else it gets the hose again. All that, you know. Thing that grabbed me right away was that Clarice Starling looks so much in hair and face and posture and everything as Dana Scully from the X-Files, right? And I went looking, and sure enough, the character of Dana Scully was directly inspired. In fact, in the first episode, Dana Scully even has red hair like Clarice did, although they changed that later. And they said, Clarice, we already did it perfectly with Clarice Starling. We need a highly educated, capable woman who thrives in a male-dominated FBI.
Okay.
The archetype was there.
Yeah.
And they're just like, we'll just make another one and cast someone else in the role. And that's what they did. So turns out that the similarity was not accidental. It was what they had planned.
Well, I want to talk just a moment about the films that are around Silence of the Lambs. Silence of the Lambs, obviously the most popular and for good reason, but we did get the prequel, Manhunter, William Peterson, directed by Michael Mann, like we said, from 86. But then the sequels that came later, which one of them is actually a prequel. We get Hannibal, then we get Red Dragon, which is the prequel book
They
to
remade
Silence of the Lambs.
Manhunter, right? Basically.
Yeah. Exactly. And then we get Hannibal Rising. So we get all of those from 2001 through 2007. what's interesting to me is the directors that they were chosen and how I think the films got worse as they went along. And to me, it looks like the director also might have been a reason for that, because we get Jonathan Demme, who we all agree did a tremendous job, but then we get Ridley Scott for Hannibal.
Okay.
Which he's a good director,
which
normally.
is a solid director. Yep. Then we get Brett Ratner for Red Dragon. No, thank you. And then we get some guy named Peter Weber for the last film, and obviously we haven't had any since.
I've never seen any of these other films. I just want to quickly ask you, is it the same cast? Do we have Anthony Hopkins reprising his role? And no. We do get him in 2 of the 3 sequels. Yeah, but one's a prequel, so Anthony he would Hopkins. Be a younger version of himself, probably. No?
Yeah.
But, okay. All right.
Yeah,
Curious.
And we get different FBI people. I think Ed Norton is in one of them. I forget which one.
Weird.
Might have been the Red Dragon one. I think that Norton was in. I can't remember, but
it was.
I think that Silence of the Lambs was so strong that they had an opportunity to turn this into the can't miss serial killer franchise.
Yeah.
That the 80s was all about blood and guts. The 90s could have all been about, psychological horror. And I think, unfortunately, the sequels just missed the mark.
Yeah, I agree. There was one part in Manhunter, though, which is interesting because the main character in Manhunter, or Red Dragon, is the person who caught Lecter.
Yes.
Oh,
that's the main character.
That's William Peterson's character.
Yeah. In Manhunter, they had a scene where he's talking to Lecter because he's using Lecter to try to find another serial killer.
Right.
And he's like, well, Lecter's like, why are you coming to me? He's like, because you're smarter than him. And the Lecter says, so you must think you're smarter than me since you caught me. And he's like, no, you had a disadvantage. He's like, what's that? You're insane. And Lecter just sort of like nods and then moves on to the next topic. He's like,
know your weaknesses.
Yeah. Okay, pretty good.
We then got some, which is pretty common now. Star Wars is big. Star Wars TV shows, whatever. You have a good franchise. Let's do something with it. So we got a couple of series from 2013 to 2015, a couple seasons called Hannibal. That came out for a bit. And then this is just 2 or 3 years ago, 2021, I guess, Clarice, which this was like following that character, which is like, instead of the rest of the series seems the movies and the series seem to follow the bad guy, that character. And then we get to focus more on go back to Starling and find out what it is about her. Where did she continue? Just got 1 season is all it got. I didn't catch either of those, but I was fascinated. Now that I have a better memory of Lambs, I might go back and watch. Have you guys watched those?
I've watched Clarice.
Oh, I saw Hannibal.
Did you? Okay.
Well, I'll let Mo go first then.
Okay. Oh, Hannibal. It was a good series.
Was it? Okay.
I liked it. The character. He said it was a little weird because the main character is Hannibal, but it was a good series. It went for 2 or 3 seasons, so it definitely had something going for it.
Yeah. What about Clarice, George?
Clarice was pretty decent. It wasn't great, and it did have some missteps toward the end, but I think what was nice was we got Paul Crindle back. Paul Crindle is the deputy director of the FBI who was in the room with the director when he was yelling at Crawford's character, and he's also the guy who was in the airplane hangar backing up the senator and saying, like, you're a disgusting asshole. Let's get this jerk away from her. That character, he's a main character in the Clarice series, played by Michael Cudslis, who is a great actor, and he played him with an addiction issue, which was also very cool. And they had a team around her. So she was brought on to the team by him. And then the whole series goes around her trying to find people. Buffalo Bill has a recurring thing in the series.
Oh, really?
So does the senator's daughter, because this series takes place directly after the events of Silence of the Lambs. So the senator's daughter's going through all kinds of emotional issues because of the whole thing. And it's a good series. Is it awesome? Nah.
Well,
but I would have liked to have seen it get a second season to resolve some stuff.
Okay. All right. And often when we're talking about the legacy of films, of course it's sequels and prequels and things like that in the series, but also how it is seen by its peers, seen by the industry, seen by that. And so we have several of those here. First one I saw is in 2018, Empire ranked Silence of the Lambs number 48 on its list of the 500 greatest movies, not thrillers, not horrors, movies of all time.
That's pretty good.
The top 50, number 48.
Yep.
Pretty damn good. AFI, American Film Institute, ranked it 65th greatest film in America's cinema and the 5th greatest thriller. Now,
okay,
I got to go check that list and see what the first 4 are.
I got to see what the first 4 are. Yeah, I'm curious now.
Because I'm not saying it is the absolute best, but I can't think of 4 better off the top of my head. So I want to go look and see what they are.
It's one of those where you look at the list and go, oh, well, maybe.
Oh yeah, all right, maybe so. Yeah.
It may be a 5-way tie, right?
Perhaps.
Also the U.S. Library of Congress, they deemed this culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant, and they preserved it in the National Film Registry in 2011.
Of course they did.
Yeah.
Not a lot of films get that mark, and more so than a ranking list, I think that shows just how significant it is to our culture.
Yeah.
And most of all, it's like one of the few times the Academy Awards kind of got it right. Because it won 5. I mean, it won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Actress, and Best Adapted Screenplay. Which,
holy shit.
I mean, that's like the big 5.
The big 5.
That's like the big 5.
What'd we say? The Perfect Storm, the Rare Unicorn. It's like they all hit at the same time. It was just, damn.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Finally, to bring it all back around to last week's podcast, I want to say AFI's 100 Years, 100 Movie Quotes.
Uh-oh.
They listed this as number 21, ladies and gentlemen. A census taker once tried to test me. I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti. And I'm not going to do the because I can't do it. But there you go.
How someplace in
it may be one of the creepiest moments in history of cinema. And you see that close up of his face in like so many clip montages, right?
Yep.
Like anytime they want to talk about a horror guy, you see that because it's so different than
It
every
is.
other horror guy.
It's crazy.
I was in a restaurant and they had fava beans, and that's all I could think about.
How many times do you
that
think
was going through
people
my
did
head.
that to him,
I know.
right?
Like, it's like the wrong thing to have on a menu in a restaurant because it's like
Is it just like a pairing? Can you order it with a Chianti? Can you just
With
do
a
that?
Chianti.
You know? Yeah, I'm gonna have the number 17. It's the fava beans, liver, and Chianti.
Chianti.
Thank you very much. That's what I want for now. Ugh, I'm creeped out again. Fantastic. Guys, thank you for walking through Silence of the Lambs with me. 35th anniversary of this film, still as relevant and as powerful and as enjoyable film to watch today as it was 3.5 decades ago. Before we leave you, we do want to thank another brand new patron who's supporting us now financially over at patreon.com, Jeff G. Thank you, Jeff. Like so many other kind folks before you, headed over to patreon.com/GenXGrownUp and decided that what we do was worth supporting to ensure that we continue to do it. Set up that regular monthly financial pledge for as little as $1 a month. That's all it takes. It's not like it's a hardship. You know, you can't buy a soda for $1 anymore, it seems. So come on, help us out a little bit. We certainly appreciate you, Jeff. We love that you went the extra mile to help us out there and join such a roster of amazing folks. That is going to wrap it up for this backtrack edition of the Gen X Grown Up podcast. Don't worry, we'll be back in a couple weeks with a brand new one. Another regular episode coming your way shortly too. Until then, I am John. George, thank you so much for being here.
Yes, sir.
Mo, I appreciate you, man.
always fun, man.
Fourth listener, it's you we all three appreciate most of all, and we cannot wait to talk to you again next time. Bye-bye.
See you guys.
Take care, everybody.
No life, no fun. Don't you know that you're a grown up?
Gen X Grown Up is a member of the Evergreen Podcast family. Learn more at evergreenpodcasts.com.
Watching shows till sunrise. Unacceptable for grown-ups. Your dinner cannot just be french fries. Basically, life sucks as a grown-up.
Mo, can you give me one more? You said endearing. Can you give me and so enduring?
Oh, enduring. Sorry, misread
That's
that
okay.
one.
Yeah.
Totally misread that one. Yeah, that's not
Just
good.
give me that
That's
and so enduring.
That's a
and I
good
can-
tongue slip.
Yeah,
right
no,
there.
yeah.
That's funny.
And so enduring.
Thank you. Okay.